My brother lives in Bedford, Massachusetts, and he likes to go for a walk now and again by the Mystic River, the actual Mystic River of Dennis Lehane fame. And the other day he was out there, it's winter, and he noticed that recently, there have been many swans swimming along the Mystic River, like a lot of swans. And swans, in my experience, not a common bird. They kind of have a mythic quality. Well, on the Mystic River, he said one day he counted 20 swans, 20 swans. It's very unusual. And he'd been noticing it. So he goes out for a walk, as he likes to do. But on this particular day, he wasn't feeling that great. He was kind of down on himself and he's walking along, kind of beating himself up. And he's a creative type like you and me, right? Like we all are. And creative types, we get focused on things not working the way we want to, our songs not sounding the way we like, the rejection letters, but there's a lot about the creative process that can be frustrating or disappointing and confusing. And my brother John is as susceptible to these kinds of uh, experiences as anybody else, as I am, as you are, I'm sure. And so this day he was walking along, trying to sort of cheer himself up, but not having much success. When up ahead of him, he noticed this woman. And, when he's out for a walk, he's like me. If he wants to walk alone, he wants to walk alone. And she was walking at such a pace where he couldn't simply pass her quickly and he couldn't let her go ahead. She was walking almost at the same pace as him, which was frustrating him. He wanted to feel alone. So he kind of sped up, and he finally got past her, but he could sense that her attention was sort of oddly on him. And sure enough, as he walked past her, she said, excuse me. Turned to her. He said, yeah. And she pointed to the river. And the riverbed, it's Massachusetts. It's January, and so it's cold, and there is this about, I don't know, 2 or 3 feet of ice on the shore before the river begins. And so she pointed to the shore, to the ice, and she said, is that a dead bird? And he looked, and it was kind of hard to tell because the ice is so thick, but what he thought might have been a stick or a log was, in fact, after looking closely, was in fact a dead bird. There were the feathers, there was the beak. And he turned to her and he said, yep, it sure is. And he continued on. And it occurred to him that here she was walking by the Mystic River, a river filled with swans, big, white, beautiful swans. They're everywhere, strangely everywhere. I can't think of a time in my life where I've said swans are everywhere. Crows, yes. Pigeons, yes. Ducks, sure. But swans on the Mystic River. So here she is on the Mystic River. And what does she notice? A dead bird in the ice. And my brother thought, what am I doing? Aren't I just noticing the dead bird in the ice instead of the swan? Indeed, he was. He thought, what a gift. It helped him loosen his mind up a little bit. And I thought it was such a great story for creative people. You got to pay attention to what you're paying attention to. I always say that as a writer, the most important, it's more important in a way in terms of our career, what we do after we write than while we're writing. Of course, it's very important that the writing goes well and you write as well as you can and you get lost in it. But we can cause such trouble by how we think after we write. Are you, when you're not writing and you're thinking about writing, are you picturing the best part of it? Are you picturing getting lost? Are you picturing the surprise? Are you picturing that sense of discovery of something coming through you? Or are you focusing on the dead bird, the scene that doesn't work, the character that you can't figure out? Focus on the swans. Focus on the swans. It's what you want. And dead birds will happen. Everything dies. Dead birds will happen, but you focus on the thing you want to have, and you'll have more of it. It's true. It's true, people. Okay, a little one from my brother. He knows a good story when he hears one or when he tells one. And I'm glad I got to share it with you. And if you want to hear more stories like that, hit subscribe. I do these every week. And if you like this, say so. Hit like and say so. I like to hear from you. So until next week, this is Bill Kenower. Stay fearless.